Hi, I'm Ben. I like Kill Team, and I want to talk about it. In this video, we will be chatting about the new Kill Team Blood and Zeal box. Thank you very much to Games Workshop for sending me an early review copy. I really appreciate that. And if you were looking for a rules overview video, deep dive, this is not that video. So feel free to click away, no hard feelings. This is also not a video where we will board the doom train. No doom and gloom here. If you were looking for that video, feel free to click away. Again, no hard feelings. Around these parts, we like to enjoy our hobby and not, board the doom train whenever something doomish comes our way. Although we will not be turning a blind eye to the strong and/or seemingly cracked things that are in this, ancient forbidden tome. There are some pretty cool and strong things in here. Both these teams do it for me in their own ways, which we'll get into. And I think it has some interesting implications for Kill Team going forward. So, enough said, let's get into it. Starting off, the teams in here are really interesting. I don't think anybody was expecting them, which I think is a pretty cool thing. It sort of sets apart Kill Team from some of the other mainline systems. And everybody was expecting, I think part of the bummer nature of this box, the perceived bummer of this box is that everyone was dead set on Grey Knights and the Corn Demons. What are they called? The Blood freaking Soakers. I forget. Blood Soakers. It's definitely not Blood Soakers. Blood Takers. I forget. Anyways, Valrak really did a number on the community with this one because of those rumors. And so when the box was revealed, everybody was bummed that it wasn't Grey Knights and the Blood Drinkers. What are they called, dude? That's driving me nuts. Blood Letters. Yeah, the Blood Letters. And everybody was pretty bummed that it wasn't the Grey Knights and the Blood Letters. And I think that's your fault. If you were bummed about that, I think, cope a little bit. Sorry, guys. These mainline factions, and this is what I think some of the implications are for Kill Team, is that it seems as if we're not getting those mainstay factions, quite as much as we thought we would be getting in Kill Team. And we've seen this precedent set in the past with stuff like Tyranids. No Tyranids in Kill Team. Why are there no Tyranids in Kill Team? Like, you would think if Tyranids were coming, we would have them by now. So it's kind of interesting that we don't have that. Although we have sort of Tyranid adjacent teams, something like the Brood Brothers, which is, sort of working in the shadows with Tyranids, knowingly or unknowingly. And sort of connected, but a little more tactical, a little bit more special ops than a bunch of crazy, Nid bugs would be. And along with stuff like Custodes and some other, teams and factions that just don't seem to be in Kill Team. And so I think we have to ask ourselves, are we getting, the Emperor's Children Marine Kill Team? If I was a betting man, I would say maybe down the road. Because what do we have for Chaos Marines right now? Legionaries are going to be declassified a little bit, but to make up for that, we're going to have Plague Marines. We're going to have Nemesis Claw. So there's some options going forward there. There's the new Gormongers. While it's not Chaos Space Marines, it is adjacent. And so people were thinking we were getting a Khorne Space Marine team. And again, I just think we have to temper our expectations and instead of saying, okay, where is the 1-to-1 40K equivalent? I think what we need to do is say, okay, with the boxes that are coming out, maybe they're just going to give us some funky stuff. And funky stuff is kind of cool to me, man. The Sanctifiers, I really like them, dude. I wish we had a real Sisters of Battle Kill Team where everybody was suited up and you had a bunch of muscle mommies going around with, nuns with guns. Yeah, dude, I really, really want that. But seemingly, they don't want that for us, at least yet. I think we also have to look at things with the new classified system. We have to, we're playing the long game here. You know what I mean? And so just because we don't have Sisters of Battle right now doesn't mean they're never coming. Just because we don't have some sort of Talons of the Emperor team doesn't mean we'll never get them. Just because we don't have Khorne Berserkers right now doesn't mean we'll never get them, And so I think we have to play the long game with Kill Team and realize, okay, and also from a business standpoint, Kill Team is a great way to work in these new sort of oddball, a new unit for World Eaters, a new unit for Sisters of Battle, or whatever they're going to be units for. I assume they'll be for Sisters of Battle. And so these sort of new sort of oddball ways to work in teams. And so if we can look at Kill Team and think of it as, okay, yeah, 100% is its own thing. It's not just a way to get 40K units out there. But from a business perspective, they can, they can do both. And so I think we have to understand, okay, yeah, bummer. I don't have Emperor's Children Marines right now. But after Nemesis Claw and Plague Marines are declassified, there's a good chance that's coming down the road. You know what I mean? So thinking a lot, I would encourage us all to think of the long game of Kill Team rather than why are Grey Knights not in the game right now? And the answer might be like Grey Knights kind of strong, dude. Grey Knights, does it make sense for a bunch of Brood Brothers with las guns to be fighting? 10 las gun toting Brood Brothers to be fighting 6 F off Grey Knights? Maybe not. I don't know. And so, well, with all this is a pretty long-winded way of saying we're playing the long game. And so, just because there isn't something that you want right now, doesn't mean that we'll never get it. And I think if I had to bet, I would suspect that we're going to start getting some more oddball teams, dude. We've seen it ever since they released Kroot and the Navy Breachers. It was kind of just like, okay, I think we're going to Crazy Town. I think Kill Team is Crazy Town, which I think is very fun. Like, do you want to play Baby 40K? I don't. I want to play Kill Team, which is its own, thing. It has its own identity. And so these sort of off the wall, oddball, Crazy Town teams that nobody saw coming, strap in, dude. I'm ready. Bring it on. Bring on the Emperor's Children crazy cultists. I want to see that stuff. Because Kill Team is a way for that stuff to get released and for it to have its own identity apart from the mainline faction that it belongs to. So I think we're gonna see some more funky stuff, and I am about it. Let me know if you're about it or if you're not about it. I don't know. Let me know. I am for sure about it. So with that out of the way, let's talk about perhaps the bummer elements of this box. Right? I'm not here to convince you. This is not a sales pitch, but I am chatting about it because I'm genuinely excited about it. I think it's going to upset our meta at the moment. And what I think is that the meta that we are currently in right now is the most healthy meta the game has maybe ever been in. Maybe famous last words, but I think that it is in a really good place. And I don't want to see it upset too much, but my fear is this box is probably going to upset that meta a little more than I would like it to. And I think what it's going to mean is that Space Marines are probably the king again. Just as a reaction to this box, Space Marines are going to be a really smart move, I feel. And so right now, it kind of feels like so many teams could win, so many teams could do well, and this box may sort of narrow that road a little bit to victory, which I don't care for. And so we'll have to see how it plays out. Maybe these teams come out and they absolutely oppress everything. Maybe they're hot for a second and then they sort of flash in the pan. We'll see. Then they're not going to get touched the next data slate, so we're 2 data slates away from these guys getting touched. So get used to them. Strap in, get used to them. They're going to be in this state for the next, 5-6 months or whatever. And, you play against them, you'll get smacked, you'll learn, you'll get, so like nothing to freak out about. But anyways, I do think it's cool. But the biggest bummer to me is that I think it's going to upset our current meta, which I feel is very healthy. But you know what? It'll get fixed eventually. So, nothing to lose your mind about. Let's talk about the teams in here. We have the Sanctifiers, which are really cool. Like, to me, this is probably the grimmest, darkest team that we've ever seen. Like, a freaking Confessor. That's a cool name, dude. Your leader is a freaking Confessor. And maybe has the most cracked data sheet in all of Kill Team. It's pretty gnarly. What I don't like about Sanctifiers is how what nobody likes about them is they just break the game in a really unfun way, where it's like, if you step out of your deployment zone, you're probably getting got, dude. Protect your neck, because you're probably getting got. And so the counterplay being, I guess I sit in my deployment zone, that does not fun or feel engaging. It doesn't really feel like counterplay. So that is the bummer element of the team. But aside from that, they have some really cool things going on. Like I said, I think from a sort of optics perspective, to me, like the grimmest and darkest. You have this just wicked, evil, perverted church team that are going around like, these guys are up to some bad stuff. You know what I mean? Like, these are not the good guys. Look at the Confessor. Look at the freaking Cherub, the Guy Fieri Cherub with the, got the freaking power soul patch. You got, man, the preachers. It's very cool stuff. The missionaries. I'm a sucker for all of this sort of dark gothic take on sort of the church, and so I just think it's so wicked and it's so cool. I think it's really cool. And sure, there are some bummer elements too. I'm looking over everything here. The sermon rules, just wicked cool, man. Like, what an incredibly thematic team. Perhaps a little overtuned. We'll have to see, but perhaps a little overtuned. Like I said, I think the Sanctifier, or probably the Sanctifier Confessor, one of the most cracked data sheets in Kill Team. It's insane and very funny. And it's cool, man. If you like just sort of this dark gothic church thing, then this is great for you. Conversions, I would love to see. Whoops. Just bumped the whole camera there. I would love to see. Did I mess up my shot? No. I would love to see. How many times would you like to hear me say I would like to see? I would like to see a Nurgle conversion on this team. And I'm thinking about doing it myself. Say it ain't so. Because they have all this really cool damage, sort of mitigation and reduction, and they're sort of tankier than you would think they are. The Preachers especially are very cool. And so, also, you want a reason to get into this team? Here's a name for a strategic ploy. Fervent Brawl. Hell yeah, dog. That's a cool name. Fervent Brawl. You know, I'm in for that. The Emperor Protects, Zealous Persecution, Rally the Flock. Yeah, give it to me. Pump it in my veins, dude. So very cool. I want to see a Nurgle conversion. I think there's a lot of play for, even in the Ecclesiarchy faction. Like you could probably do a Sisters of Battle sort of conversion on this. You could use novitiates. There's really cool things you could do. I just don't like how they break the game in a really unfun way. And so we'll have to see how it plays out. They're effectively a 10 model team with a sort of, 11th model being a little freaking baby bouncing around. So like double kills are going to hurt this team, but if they pounce on you, and I've chatted about how they sort of pounce, but you all know, if you care about Kill Team at all, you know sort of the rules for this team. How the Confessor, he moves or charges, and everybody within 6 of him gets to move or charge too, as long as they end within 6, which is just nutty, insane to have everybody just like whomp be on you immediately. Very cool. And so I definitely think this team has teeth for sure. The Miraculous, an awesome data sheet as well. So there's very cool stuff in here, man. Let me know what you think. I think it's a really thematic team. I think the models are incredible. Too strong? Yeah, we'll have to see probably, but we'll have to see. Just some crazy stuff going on there. Between the damage reduction on your Preachers and sort of your models within, the sermon bubble, which everybody that you need to will always be in the sermon bubble. I think this team's going to have a high skill floor, though. Again, I don't think that's a unique take. I think they're going to be sort of difficult to do well with. But just because there's a lot of bubble management and things like that, aura management, but pretty sweet, man. I'm talking here. This is a chat between friends. I almost said a chat between lovers, So here we go. We're chatting. Moving on. Let me know what you think about that team. I'm probably gonna do a Nurgle conversion if I like them going forward. But now let's get into my bread and butter of this box, baby. The Gormongers. I'll have what I'm having. Gormongers, just everything that I want. Initially, I saw the models, and I wasn't sure if I was sold on the models. I was a little bit disappointed in them at first, but they have grown on me. And I think there's a world where you do some really cool bloodletter conversions here as well. I'm sure we're going to see that. I need a couple more aspirants, and so I might use bloodletters for those. I'm not sure yet. I've seen some cool dark mech conversions for this team using the Rust Stalker legs, stuff like that. Very cool. And so this team is... I was drawn to this team immediately. Here's a sweet quote from from the lore for this team. Do you smell that copper tang? There's blood in the air and fear on the wind. Let us follow them to their source. We shall tear open vein and artery. We shall gorge ourselves on their entrails. We shall bathe in crimson glory. Like, if the thematic side of this box does not get you going, you should probably just go play Bolt Action or something, dude, because this is as grimdark as it gets. Pretty cool. And their faction rules are that they can't take more than 8 damage in one shooting action, which is pretty sweet. The Runes of Khorne. And the Gore Tanks, man, so cool. Pump that in my veins. Give me a Gore Tank, please, sir. And so you have a bunch of these abilities. Everybody starts half full, and you get juiced up when you get kills, or by setting up things in different ways. Go watch Can You Roll a Crits video if you want, the PDF of this, or the screenshots of this. We're just chatting. And so they have the cool... I'm going to try and pronounce this the right way. I think this is going to be maybe the most mispronounced word in all of Kill Team. But Sanguivitae, I think, which is like blood of life for lifeblood. If I had to guess, that's just what makes sense to me. And so a couple of these abilities, you can burn a token. You can burn up to 2 in an activation. One is to regain 2d3 lost wounds. Nuts. Add 1 to your APL. Can fight twice. D3 damage on the charge. an extra inch to your 7-inch move, so going to 8-inch moves, yes please. Until the end of the action, add 1 to the attack stat, rage. So like a very cool, and what I'm loving to see from GW is this. We need more elite teams that are not Marines, and so this being an 8 model team to me checks out as an elite team. I would say that something like Harlequins is an elite team. I think these guys qualify as an elite team. You have Higher Tech, an elite team that's not Marines. You've got the new big explodey orc boys, Rekkas. They are an elite team, and so I love to see elite teams that are not Marines. Because I like playing elite teams, but I don't always want to play Chaos Space Marines. I mean, I mostly do, but sometimes I don't. And so this being an 8 model team, you can see that like turn 2, everybody could be 3 APL if you need them to be. Like there's not a world where you want everybody to be 3 APL and burn it all, but like you could be 3 APL turn 2. So very cool stuff there. And I think it's a really interesting way and a more effective way than Rekkas. Like Rekkas need some help comparatively, where they're just basically 2 APL unless you're winning and if you get the ball rolling and it's awesome. But if you don't, like, sorry dude, sucks to suck. ITD's rough. Like it's a bad time. And so this team, I think they've really nailed the sort of pseudo elite 2 APL situation here. I think it's very, very cool. And so they're really cool strat ploys. Again, are these abilities too strong? Gotta see. But they're pretty killy, which I'm about. The most egregious strategic ploy they have here is, Gory Tenacity. So whenever a friendly Gormonger operative is fighting or retaliating, that's kind of the gross part. It's fighting or retaliating. The first time your opponent strikes it during that sequence, have the damage inflicted rounding up. And so when you combine that with the ability to heal up, and they're 10 wounds, right? So like this basically with this up, you really can't be 2-tapped is the long and short of it. Like you would need a crazy profile to 2-tap this team. And so other melee teams rely on being able to 2-tap other teams, or in the extreme cases, 1-tap like a 7-wound guardsman with a model or 2 on your team, right? And so melee teams need to be 2-tapping, taking 1 tap in return. Tap, tap, tap. You're tapping everything. Everything's getting tapped. And so they rely on the ability to 2-tap teams. And so with the reduced damage to shooting, so like you can't get auto killed from full health with shooting. Excellent. Kudos. The design team and kill team crushing it. And then you have this, they also can't be 2-tapped in melee for a CP for their whole team. And so I think people will look into it and start to see, ooh, maybe this feels a little too overtuned. Elites are still, I think, going to have a pretty okay time in this team. I haven't played enough to totally know of these, but like in my game so far, I think elites being able to move tap like intercession or intercession with dueler. Or Angels of Death, pardon me. Angels of Death with Dueler and double tapping bolters. I think it's a pretty good kit against these guys. Plague Marines forcing you to hit on 4s. They don't want to be hitting on 4s, you know what I mean? So, and also I think with the Sanctifiers as well, man, elites are still looking pretty good as far as dealing with them. And so we're in this sort of interesting rock, paper, scissors, meta right now where you have elves blow everybody, elves blow up Space Marines and basically everything. Elves blow up everything. And then you have teams like something like Commandos or Felgor that dunk on the elves. And then you've got elites that dunk on Felgor and Commandos. And so now you add this team in and like, man, Gormongers, like, haha, what is that? A shimmering, Shistel pistol, Eldar Shistel pistol that you have. It's AP2. Doesn't matter. I take 8 damage, I heal up, and now I 2-tap you and I kill you. And so I think also they're probably gonna give goats a hard time as well. So from the looks of it, this team is very strong, and this is the team that I am of the two I am drawn to because I'm also just little chaos simp over here at the end of the day. So I think this is the team for me. I love the way that they have sort of locked in this pseudo elite team. I think I've done it really well here. What do you think about Gormongers? I am pretty high on Gormongers as a whole, and even honestly the whole box as a whole. And I would encourage you not to board the Doom train because while these teams both seem strong, these teams both seem very strong. The answer here is play Space Marines. I think what GW has actually done with this box is they just want more people playing Space Marines. so that the elves can come in and kill us all. No. And so I think that these teams seem very strong. I think we'll have to see how it plays out. I think they're going to kick some serious butt in the competitive world. And like Gormongers, dude, if you roll up to your local pub stomp event with Gormongers, you're probably going to pub stomp with these bad Bama Jambos because they're just killy, which is good. Like, they should be killy. They have really cool thematic equipment. I think it's an excellent, excellent team from a thematic standpoint and also a competitive standpoint. These are two competitive teams. And here's the thing. It's tough, right? Because none of us want GW to release a team with a box with 2 weak teams. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants GW to release boxes with cracked teams. Like, people are freaking like power creep. This is not power creep. Was the Rekka's Rattling box power creep? I would say no to that one. Rattlings are a good team. Rekkas are a good team, but they're not a great team. They need some help. They need to push in the right direction. So I would not say this is power creep. I would say that, you know what? Sometimes teams that are a little too overtuned get through the playtesting. And you know what? This is a game that we play for fun. It's not a reason to freak out or flip out. This is not, cult level imbalance. This is not Felgor level imbalance. I hope I could be wrong about this, but I don't think it's cult level. And I think there's counterplay to these teams. Largely in the bummer town is that the counterplay is to play a Space Marine because the Sanctifier is just going to jump in your guts very early if you're not careful. And the Alpha Strikes being gone from the game largely. It's a bummer that these guys can't Alpha Strike. Like, it'd be cool if they couldn't do it turn 1, so that way their whole team can't be like right in your face at the start of turn 2, and then do it again. Like, it's just kind of a bad time there. And so with the Gormongers, I think that is a better. I think it feels better to play against because there is some counterplay, but I think they're going to really piss people off because you can't kill them in one shot. Then they're going to heal up 2d3 wounds, and so now they're back up to what, like 8 wounds on average, and they kill you and they take basically no damage, and then on counteract they heal up again. So I think they're also going to make people mad in different ways. But I don't think this is as bad as people make it out to be. I think it is a good box. I think this is a good sign for Kill Team. The balance of these teams aside, I think this is a good side for Kill Team because of what it means. I think we're getting more weird teams, dude. Give us the stuff that nobody expected. Like, what are the declassified teams that are going away? After this first season, there's going to be a sort of a hole, and we're going to need some teams to fill this in. And then next year, the declassified teams that are going away. And so, like, boom, our Drukhari is going away. Our Corsairs are going away this year. Drukhari going away next year. Like, we got to get some racks. The rack kit could really use some love. So, like, I just think if you're bummed, and if you made it this far in the video, by the way, kudos. Like, you are my sanguine vitae. You are my lifeblood if you made it this far. But like, I think we're playing the long game here, dude. And so if your faction is not in here yet, just hold down there. Like, there is a world where like maybe we don't get Grey Knights, but we get some little Grey Knight horde unit of I don't like. There's plenty of options, like little like human auxiliary element of that, whatever. Does that even exist in lore? I don't know, but you get my point. That if what you're looking for is not in here now, there probably will be at some point. And if it never will be, then you can convert something up and make it work, or maybe it's just not the game for you. But so if you got here, God bless. What do you think about this box? Let me know. I'm pretty pumped about it, despite the sort of power level eyebrow raising that this box sort of inspires out of all of us. I think it's very cool. I think it's, while the teams in there are a little overpowered, I don't think that means that we're going to see power creep take over. I think if power creep was a kill team thing, I think we would have seen it destroy us all already. There is always, in every game system, there's always going to be a strongest team, dude. So like, get used to that. There will always be a strongest team. There will always be a faction that comes out that is better than all the other ones, and they get toned down. This is just the way these things go. You have bought into this hobby. This is how it works. There's always going to be a strongest team. Cool. Adjust, cope, and live a good life and be good to the people that you love. Final note, this video was intentionally not released on the Saturday embargo date lift day because Saturdays are pretty crowded, dude. When it comes to the Kill Team releases, it's pretty crowded, and people have their dedicated channels they go to for their rules, screenshot sort of style videos, or places where they get a deep dive on the rules. And those are already established, and people go to those for those reasons. And I just see no reason to compete with that. They're crushing it on those days, so like, let them eat cake is what I say. I say let them eat cake. But around here we eat pie, and that pie is talking about the deeper implications of this box, I feel. And just coming at it from the standard Battle Brothers way is let's chat about this together. So thank you very much for watching. I have been Ben. You have been excellent, and I'll catch you later. Thanks.